Hello digital artists! Today I am going to show you how we can create a mosaic using a letter from our name. So I already went ahead and chose a background color. I used alternate click to pull up the dialog box to choose a background color. I wanted to choose something dark so that way when I take away my letter, something can pop out. You can really choose any kind of color that you want. Maybe I'll switch it to something more bright. Then I'm going to come over to the text tool. I'm going to use the text tool to type just one letter. I don't want to type in a whole word because I want to focus on making one letter really large in a mosaic design. So I'm going to choose the text tool and I'm going to draw a text box by clicking and dragging. I'm going to choose the letter D, but this is really small and boring. So I'm going to come up into the toolbar and I'm going to type in 400. That way I have a nice big letter. And then I'm going to move the letter up into my space that I'm working in. I might not like this letter, the font that I've chose. So I can go through the choices and choose something that is more interesting to me. So you could take some time to really go through and look at these different fonts. I'm going to choose this one. I want to make sure my letter stays inside the box. So I'll put it like that. If your letter isn't inside the box, you might need to resize your image. So if you're looking and your letter looks something like this is too small for you to work on. So you need to click on the lines and make it smaller so it can be nice and close to your letter. That way you can zoom in and really get up close to the letter. So I'm going to put all of my shapes inside of this black area. Then I can delete the text when I'm done. So I'm going to just come over to the shapes and I'm going to choose whatever shapes I want to fill inside of my letter so it's like a mosaic design. So you could use any of the shapes or you can use the polyline to make shapes. So I'm just going to use polyline to fill in my letter with some shapes. When I come back, I'll have the whole letter filled in. Okay, so I have entirely filled in my letter, and you can tell I really used the zoom tool to get up close to my letter, so I'm going to zoom back out. You can see my letter is all filled in with shapes. So now what I can do is I can actually use the select tool to get on that text box. And I know I'm on the textbook, then I can delete it. So now I don't have that letter anymore, I just have these shapes. And now I can go shape by shape and use the fill color tool. If I want, I can use a gradient. One thing I want to do is I want to take the border off all these shapes. I'm going to use the select tool, click and drag around everything, and turn all of my borders to transparent. That way I have no borders on my shapes. And then I can go through and just choose different color gradients to fill each shape in with. So there's no rhyme or reason on how I'm going to choose to color these in. Maybe you choose just a couple of different gradients or want to explore making the gradients in different directions, but this is a good practice on a mosaic style artwork. So I'm going to just go through shape by shape and I'm going to just choose different gradients to fill in each one of my shapes. You could do solids, but I think gradients are going to be way more pretty. So I'm going to just keep choosing like different gradients. And I'm going to go through the whole letter. When we come back, my whole thing's going to be filled in. Okay, so I went in and I made kind of a pattern. I did just blue and just purple for my gradients. And now my letter is done and I'm ready to turn it in.